Oyun efsanesi arkadaşlar, sizlere beraber FIFA 23 Untitled fragmanı izleyeceğiz arkadaşlar. Yani tek videoda 2 tane fragman izleyeceğiz. Bu fragmandan sonra da Pro kulüp nedir bir fragman daha izleyeceğiz arkadaşlar. Yani bildiğiniz gibi ben ayrı bir videoda bir fragman izliyorum. Bu sefer bir videoda 2 tane fragman izleyeceğiz. Neyse, bu fragmanı geçelim.
Hello everyone, we're here with our Ultimate Team producers to give a special presentation on what's new to FUT in FIFA 23. Alright, over to you team.
Thanks Derek. We are here with Richard and Aslan from the development team to talk about everything new in Ultimate Team. So Aslan, let's start with you. What are you most excited about in FIFA Ultimate Team this year?
You know, there's no question, it has to be FUT Moments. It's our brand new mode. It's going to give players a new way to play, a new way to earn rewards, and it's totally different from anything we've done before. It's going to be single player, fast, fun, bite-sized scenarios with a ton of variety and unique challenges.
Bite-sized, so that means that we can play certain scenarios within a match, like the 75th minute?
You got it. So it's going to be short gameplay sessions. It could be scoring a free kick. It could be completing a comeback when you're 2-0 down with only 10 minutes to go. But we'll also have crazier ones, you know, things like scoring a goal with your keeper without completing a single pass, without losing possession. We can do all kinds of fun stuff that is just really different from our other modes.
Does that mean that we can recreate matches and scenarios?
Şöyle olacak. Size görevler verecek, farklı görevler. Neyse, ben çok oynamadığım ikisiyle beraber bu sene başlayacağım ve seneye de 23'lere devam etmeyi düşünüyorum. Buradan devam edelim.
Scenarios that we've seen in real life over the weekend?
You know, we're going to have a mix, right? So some moments will be inspired by real life, recreating that banger from the weekend, that goal from Son with a finesse shot from outside the box. But we'll also have more unique and creative ones that really just are very distinct and different from how you play in other modes in FUT. So there's going to be a lot of variety and a lot of fun ways to play in moments.
Now, what exactly do you get when you complete a moment?
Yeah, so when you're completing moments, I think the most important thing is that you get to set your own difficulty level. So based off your difficulty level, we're going to give you stars as a reward. So stars are a brand new reward type to Ultimate Team this year. So you're going to be able to redeem them in the Moments Reward Gallery. But you're going to always have new rewards for you to be looking out for and exchanging your stars for. But your stars will never go away. So it's up to you if you want to spend them as you earn them or if you want to save them up for something special.
So is it a system that comes in seasons for moments?
Yeah, so there's going to be a mix of content. We're going to have a lot that's going to be available right from launch, and then we're also going to have some seasonal content that's going to come and go. Some might be up for a few days, some might be up for a month.
Now this is really interesting because some people might come home, play FIFA, but they don't have enough time to play a full match. So this is like, yeah, like you said, bite-sized.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite parts about it, is that if I have a few minutes free, now I can jump into Ultimate Team and I can make progress. I can practice my free kicks, I can practice dribbling, or I can just try out a scenario and see how that goes.
So what I'm really excited about are the new changes I've been hearing to chemistry. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest changes we've ever made. In 23, we're totally overhauling chemistry, and you'll have more variety than ever in how you build your squad. So we focused on making it more authentic with how we're doing positioning, more intuitive with how your players are going to link on the pitch, and really just enabling a lot more experimentation and variety when it comes to building your squad.
Now, one thing I noticed about this screen is that there are no chem lines.
Yeah, that's right. So positional links are gone. Players can now link across the entire pitch. Your left back and your right back are linked, your goalkeeper and your striker. If we look at Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example, this is an iconic duo, a real threat in the Premier League. In 23, they can now build chemistry towards each other. And the same thing works when you're building hybrid squads. You'll be able to link up your striker, let's say Mbappe, with your defenders from PSG or France or Ligue 1. So there's a lot more options now when it comes to building interesting squads with more variety, instead of having to rely on neighboring links and green links.
So I'm noticing that every player has 3 diamonds on them. Does that represent the chemistry?
Yeah, so players can now have between 0 and 3 chemistry, 0 being the minimum and 3 being the maximum.
So one thing I also see on this screen is the left panel. Does that help you figure out how much chem you're getting for each player?
Yeah, so this will be your reference point for how you build chemistry. Each nation, each club, each league in your squad will be represented in this left panel, and you'll build chemistry towards the thresholds for each of these. As you add players, you'll start working towards these thresholds and unlock chemistry for that nation, league or club.
So are there any changes to positioning?
the first big change is that most players will have a secondary position. And the secondary position is based off of where they play in the real world.
So let's take João Cancelo, for example. Sometimes he plays at left back for Man City, and then other weekends he plays at right back. So you'll have a secondary position.
So I think that's the perfect example. For the first time, you can now position change from the left side to the right side of the pitch, or vice versa. That means Cancelo can switch from being a right back to being a left back in your squad. And it's also a really cool way that we can differentiate unique players. So Cancelo, based on what he does in real life for City, you can now reflect that in game as well.
So could players have more than one alternate position?
Yeah, so players can have up to 3 secondary positions, and most will have at least one. If a player is out of position, they will always have 0 chemistry, and at 0 chemistry, there are no more negative attributes. They're still going to play at least as good as their base stats. So already you've got a lot more options for trying out players without having to rework your entire squad.
So now let's talk about icons and heroes. How do they help with the chemistry of the team?
So icons and heroes always give a unique benefit to your team, and that's not changing with 23. Icons and heroes, as long as they're in the right position, will always be at full chemistry. On top of that, icons will count as 2 players towards their nation, and heroes will count as 2 players towards their league. If you play an icon or hero out of position, they're going to be at 0 chemistry. Now remember, at 0 chem, players won't have negative attributes, so they're always going to play at least as good as their base stats. So you can try out icons and heroes out of position if you just want to see what they play like in that squad.
So everybody's been talking about crossplay, and I want to know, how is that going to affect FIFA Ultimate Team?
So what that means for us is that we're adding crossplay to all of our 1 versus 1 modes. So if you're playing on the same generation of consoles as someone, you're going to be able to match up with them. So that means our PlayStation and our Xbox users are finally going to get to battle head-to-head. What that also means is that we're introducing crossplay to our friendlies modes as well. So if you have friends and you want a bit of a friendly competition from platform to platform, you're going to be able to do that now.
And what does that mean for the transfer market?
We have 1 global transfer market for most players. So if you're a FUT trader, you should pay attention to this, because it means there's going to be more content for you to play with, and more people who are going to be competing on the transfer market as well.
So in terms of draft, FUT champions, and rivals, will that be crossplay as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our 1 versus 1 head-to-head modes are going to be crossplay.
On top of that, we're also adding global leaderboards. So for the first time in Rivals, you're going to look at the Elite Division and see players from other platforms to compete for that #1 spot. But you can also toggle it to only look at your platform leaderboard as well.
So I'll be honest, one thing I love doing is spending time customizing my stadium. Is there anything new when it comes to that?
Yeah, we're making upgrades across the board, Shu. So your stadium's going to have a new roof for tier 1, 2, and 3. We've got new animated pitch trophies that look awesome. We've got new animated tifos as well. So how you can customize and show off your stadium is going to look so much better in FIFA 23.
So it's a World Cup year. Is there anything coming for FUT?
We are going to have the World Cup in FUT this year, but I can't really say anything else, so stay tuned.
Well, I mean, hey, you can't get everything you want, but you did get a lot of great new details on FIFA Ultimate Team and FIFA 23. We heard about the brand new mode, FUT Moment, a brand new chemistry system that's going to redefine the way we play Ultimate Team, crossplay functionality, and of course, visual customization that is going to make your stadium look incredible. Aslan, Richard, it's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to FIFA 23. And back to you, Derek.
Cheers, everyone. Stuart and I will make sure...
Evet arkadaşlar, şimdi arkadaşlar bu diğer fragmanımızda görüşmek. Şimdi diğer fragmanımıza gelelim, gösterelim. Hadi şimdilik görüşürüz. Evet arkadaşlar, bu game fragmanı izledik. Şimdi de Pro Clubs fragmanını izliyoruz. Hadi bakalım, dediğim gibi.
We've got the squad together to get into what's new in Pro Clubs in FIFA 23. Over to you.
Thank you, Derek. Here with Tim and Mbuso from the development team, diving into everything that is Pro Clubs in FIFA 23. A ton to get into, including a new shared progression system, customization, drop-in, new perks, new skill games. You're going to break it down to the dev team themselves. So let's start with you, Mbuso. What are you most excited about in FIFA 23?
So many things, but I think I've got to start with that first thing you mentioned, the shared seasonal progression. we have an opportunity to have both social modes in the same space in the main menu.
So FUT for the longest time and Volta have had a season system that rotates through a 6-week cycle. This will be the first time that Pro Clubs players will be able to take advantage of that. Pro Clubs players will now be earning seasonal progression by playing Pro Clubs matches. They'll be able to head over to Volta where they can claim their rewards, make purchases with the Volta coins that they've earned, and then take their rewards back to Pro Clubs where they can equip them and wear them on the pitch.
Talking about Pro Clubs heading over to the 11v11 match, community talks so much about drop-ins. Is there anything new coming to the drop-ins experience this year?
Yeah, we're looking to freshen up the drop-in experience this year. We want to bring in more kits, more stadiums. We want to be able to rotate through that visual experience. So now there'll be 8 Pro Clubs drop-in specific kits. On top of that, we do want to liven up the experience and create more moments of magic. So for this year, drop-ins will be 4-minute halves. We want to reduce that down so it's a faster experience, make every moment matter. And we also want to move to a golden goal extra time that won't proceed to penalties beyond that. We want to make it a quick experience. You get in, you score a magic goal and golden goal, and then you're back in the ecosystem, readying up to go again.
Community often talks about tracking that progression. Perk's playing a big role in that. Can you explain anything new coming to Perk's and the whole progression system as a whole?
So for 23, we have listened to a lot of that community feedback. There'll be a lot more levels, and not only that, the gaps between each level, the XP required to move from one to another will be shortened, so it'll be more frequent moments of excitement and more rewards. We're also looking to get Perks into the hands of our players sooner. While you may only have one Perk slot available to you at launch, we want to get you in and able to experiment and find out which one works for you best. Furthermore, into perks, we do have 4 new perks, 2 of which are defensive based. So there's a great new one called Chase Down, which is activated after a change of possession if you're retreating back towards your own goal, as well as an interceptor perk that'll activate whenever you're defending and the ball is in your proximity. You'll be able to make blocks and traps on opposition passes and shots more easily. We also have a chance creation perk that's light passes. It's a really interesting one. It's the only time that the perk actually takes effect on your teammates. It'll actually influence the ability of your teammates to trap and control your passes. So if you're playing driven passes into the box, that first touch, when you need it to be perfect, to be able to get it out of your feet and shoot, that'll be the perk for you, and you can dictate the play of your team. We also have a poacher perk. This will activate when players move inside the box, and it will boost all of those areas of finishing, volleys, heading, as well as your general finishing and shooting. Something
I think every Pro Clubs player has experienced at one point or another. You load up the game, load up Pro Clubs, you get ready, and none of your teammates are online.
It's a common occurrence that you're into the lobby and you're waiting for that one last 2 or 3 people, and this time FIFA 23 will give you something to do with your time, so we do want to encourage players to go and play skill games with their virtual pro inside the Pro Club system, compete against your teammates for top spot on a Pro Club specific leaderboard, so you'll get bragging rights. And on top of that, we want to give you a player growth XP reward that will reset on a weekly cadence. We'll also be adding player growth XP as a reward to Volta matches, so you will be earning a contribution to your Pro Club's avatar's player progression XP as well.
So what would you say the main benefit is here as these two come together for both Pro Clubs and Volta players?
The shared seasonal progression. So now we have it where in Pro Clubs and in Volta, you can play both modes and earn seasonal points, and then that shared progression can carry through into both of those, unlocking gear that you can equip onto your Pro.
Alright, a lot to take in here, so I guess it's really just time to start planning. And Buso, Tim, thank you for joining us, running through everything, and I guess it's time to get the group chats going, get the team back together.
Get everyone back together, join the club, go be that hero.
Yeah, can't wait. Thank you.
Ready up, Derek, back to you.
Well, Stuart, I think we need to go and plan our next team celebration.
Well, Derek, I've already got one in mind. That's got me inspired.
Evet arkadaşlar, bu videonun da sonuna geldik. Yarın diğer videoda görüşeceğinize iyi bakın. Kanala abone olmayı seviyorum ve bay bay.